My brothers and sisters in Christ, happy Thanksgiving to all of you. Thanksgiving is a secular holiday, not a religious or liturgical one, and yet, nonetheless, the theme of gratitude in the spiritual life is important. And so, depending on where you go to Mass today, you might hear different readings. There are the readings of the day, meaning the readings of Thursday of the 33rd week in Ordinary Time, which is what you'll hear at Mass at the Co-Cathedral today. But there are also optional selections that are readings that tie in more specifically to gratitude. However, I actually like the readings of the day for the theme of Thanksgiving, even though they might seem a little off-putting at first glance. What I mean by that, for example, one of the USCCB suggested ones, if you look up the readings online for Thanksgiving, is the theme of the lepers being cleansed and the one returning to offer thanks to God. That obviously has a very clear tie-in of gratitude for the things that God has done. But the reading of the day speaks of Jesus weeping over Jerusalem. He weeps as he looks down. He knows what is coming, and he actually speaks ominously about the future destruction of the temple in Jerusalem. The day coming, not a stone will be left unturned because you didn't know the hour of your visitation. But even though this is a darker tone, what can we say is the theme of missing the hour of visitation? In a sense, the people are waiting for God's deliverance, and it comes, and they don't recognize it. To me, this actually plays powerfully into the theme of gratitude, and the fact that so often God intervenes strongly for us. First of all, we should be grateful for the very gift of life itself. We don't exist except by the grace of God. Not only do we have the gift of life, but God has redeemed us, called us his own in baptism. He sustains us with his grace, feeds us every day. And so there's much that we clearly have to be grateful for. But often our own perceived situation doesn't match or doesn't happen in light of what God sees and the good that God wills for us. Often we see our prayers as going unanswered, while all the while God is actually working very powerfully for our good. And so this cry of the missed visitation, the people of Israel cry out for salvation from God. The Son of God comes, and they reject him. How often do we refuse to see the good things that God does for us? How often do we cry out, woe is me? Or how often do we doubt God because we don't see, we lack the gratitude for what he is actually doing for us? Perhaps it's not always coming in the form that we seek, and yet we are not God. So often the very things we want or think we need are not actually what's best for us. God holds each of us in the palm of his hand. God longs for our good. The question is, do we pause to give him thanks, or do we continue to miss the hour of our visitation? My brothers and sisters, I hope that all of you, of course, have a wonderful holiday today. But whether you make it to Mass or not today is not a holy day of obligation. But every time we celebrate Eucharist itself is Thanksgiving. I pray that today is a day of intentional gratitude for you and your families, to call to mind the ways in which God has blessed us and provided for every need. May God bless you all.